and speaking to Jack, he just thinks it's time that and dedicate some time to his family and to his club and trying to win a competition.
He gets so sloppy. I'm not one to throw stones, but at the moment they're just not gelling.
I think the Cleary Walker thing isn't working. No win, no drinkies.
No win, no mad cow. Mate, where JT was at 20, where Sam Walker is, Sam's up here.
Gents, we're back. You ready to rock?
Ready to go.
I'm always ready to rock.
Here we go. Oh! Gets nicked and inflictor!
Get an ambulance. Get an ambulance. Boom.
Right off his stomach.
Straight off his melon. Oh,
Can you believe he did that?
With a long-range shot, the arms up. It's a point.
It was one of the great days.
Welcome to Freddy and the Eighth Anzac rounds. One of the best rounds of the year and obviously a wonderful day on Anzac Day Rugby League at Allianz and also at Amy Park in Melbourne. Welcome back, boys.
Matthew.
Love Anzac Day Rugby League. It's a long round in terms of the duration. We start tomorrow night, Thursday. We end on Tuesday night. And then 48 hours later, round 8 gets underway.
Funny, are they? Yeah, like regardless of what day it is.
Yeah.
They just, it's there. So the contrast between the day game and the night game, I love everything about it. It's fantastic.
Yeah, long weekend, Thursday to Tuesday. There's probably a gag in there for me somewhere, but I'll just leave that alone.
Yes. Just keep your powder dry, hey? If you want to send some questions in for the boys to answer, send them through. We're going to dedicate next week's episode to viewer questions.
Ooh.
Is that open to trolls?
What's
No.
a troll?
This is a no troll zone. It's good what Latrell and Cody Walker have been talking about this week.
Yeah.
And you've got a first-hand view with Origin. And look, as parents, our kids are just welded to their devices. Yeah. Mine aren't so much into social media. They're probably a little bit young. But you take the phones off the boys when they need to focus during camp.
So pretty much, yeah, when the team walks in, comes together, I just ask them to put their phone, whether it's in the bum bag or in a bin, and then at the end of when they're not together anymore, they take their phones.
Do they use social media? Do you see them all using
boys?
social? Yeah.
When they've got their phones, of
But
course.
I mean, in terms of like being an elite athlete, it can be it's a bit of a wasteland, isn't it? Do you see some of them make an effort to stay away from that, or are they engaged as anyone?
Any sport in the world, any person in the world that's got social media, the first time they grab their phone, they'll grab it.
You know who's the worst to get trolled? LeBron James. You wouldn't think people would troll LeBron James, would you?
Mate, everyone gets trolled. If you're on there, you get trolled because people, that's just their fix. They like to troll people. They like to say negative things and be nasty, and
do you think
that gets them off?
Do you think the trolls get a hit of serotonin
Absolutely.
when they hammer people?
Yeah, well, 100%.
I got something. We need to start a show where, just say for instance, let's just say Gordon Tallis is getting trolled. No, to go on, because there's no consequence from social media. So people hammering Gordon, right? So they go out and find out who the troll is. They name and shame him, and then they go and knock on the door and they say, "You this person, blah blah blah," and they go, "Look, who's here?
Gordon.
He's Gordon Tallis. You want to say it to him now?"
Don't they do that with catfishing? What's catfishing?
Oh, I don't know.
Anyway,
No, but I think there's merit.
Mate,
If people want to troll people and to be nasty about whatever they do, name and shame them. Find out. Surely the government has
you know
got...
what? At the end of the day, we should be spending less time on phones. We should really encourage a lot less time on phones. So, I think, sacrificing social media is mostly a good thing for a lot of people. But,
It's here to stay.
I think they're trying to ban phones in schools, aren't they?
also
They're pushing back. No, the government's pushing back against it.
No.
100%. 100%.
No.
They're saying, what if there's an emergency? Well, in the old days, they'd just ring the school.
There's a phone at the school. No, it's insane. It is totally insane. With the amount of science that they understand about phones and what it does to your brain and what it's doing to self-esteem and anxiety levels and everything, all the studies show it's a negative. So I just try to give an environment where they
Talk to each other.
And they love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they love it. They do.
You take that anxiety out of your life when you get away from that social media.
I remember Matt Pryor when we picked Matt Pryor. Matt Pryor was a grown man when he came in. He was like 30 years old, I think. So, and took their phone, well, not took their phone, they put their phone aside. And then Matt Pride came up a couple of days later, he said, I couldn't believe how hard that was. He said, I was so stressed early, and then by the end of it, he loved it. So that told me a lot about it. And that was a 30-year-old man with a family. And so, anyway.
Put your phone down, punters.
They're
That's the answer.
There's a good chance they're watching this on a phone.
When you finish watching this, put your phone down, okay?
Slightly hypocritical.
It is. I can't believe on this rundown it says, Matt into hair pulling. Jerome Blue Eye.
Do you want your hair pulled?
No, absolutely not.
This is a joke. This is an
hilarious.
absolute joke.
Yeah. Bit different if he deliberately grabs it, but that was so wrong.
He's
So-
reaching for the jumper.
Is it a bit different if he deliberately grabs it?
Yeah.
Why?
Well, because
Have you got your hair down around underneath your shoulder blades? Isn't it just asking to be pulled?
Actually, I got to agree with Freddie here. If it's a deliberate act,
no, I don't think so. I don't think because you don't tackle people at their shoulder blades, you know. So at the end of the day, if it's deliberate, you get in trouble. It's like anything. Like if you go in and pinch a bloke, squeeze him, scratch him, put your hand on his face, if you do anything untoward, you get penalised. Pulling hair is untoward.
The only reason I say that is because in the NFL, I believe, Murray, our producer, tells me that if your hair is down to your shoulder blades, like near where your name is on the back,
get that in.
you can
there.
pull it. So
Can I
that's
say that again?
that's
Can I say that again?
This is the NFL. Now look, his hair is long, so he can deliberately. Oh my God!
Well, he's trying to take his hand off it quick, so...
That's. There's another one.
Can I say the first one?
Oh, you can't be doing that.
That's correct.
But that's
I
a bit
agree
eye-watering.
with that. If your hair goes down past the back of your jumper, then
But that-
if they're
you just
trying to
contradicted
tackle,
yourself. That's Jerome Luai's hair's
I
down
just
there.
haven't finished, and they're trying to make a tackle and accidentally grab their hair, then play on. If you can see they've gone dead set in and grabbed it, then yeah, I understand. It's not the spirit of the game, but it's that bloke had a handful of dreadlocks.
Oh.
Anyway, cut your hair.
Yes. Yesterday's hero. Who's our try scorer today?
You nervous?
They drag the
Phone's
defenders
down.
on. Here's Witt now. Ball on
JT.
the
Michael Witt.
who wants it? It's in the in goal. Picked up by they've scored.
Oh, Daniel Wagon.
Oh,
Daniel Wagon. That's
Boom.
easy.
Right in front. Can you
we
believe
need to make
it?
these harder.
Was it Violecki? What was his name?
David Violecki.
David Violecki.
Now, how about this for a decorated career? 232 games. Started as a winger, I reckon.
he was a
Played in
good-
the centres.
he was
Played
a good
into the
player.
forwards.
Played a wing at the Dragons.
Yeah, that's right. And then ended up playing in the back row for Queensland.
Played for
three
Australia.
Origins.
He came away on a tour in 2001, I think. Great fella.
Well, he was part of that Parramatta team that you beat, of course, in the grand final. Part of that.
Really good fella.
Yeah. Dally M Lock of the Year, 2001.
What's
that
he
very
doing
same
now?
year.
Do you know?
I don't know.
Back up the coast. I think he might have been from Yamba or somewhere like that,
Yeah.
up the north coast. I have no idea. I'm
Close
guessing.
to Queensland.
He's a Queenslander. Not another one.
Oh, yeah. That's in Queensland.
Daniel, if you're watching, we've got audience questions this week. Send us through where you are. Or if anyone knows where Daniel Wagon is. Good Queenslander. Boys, Golden Point. This comes up all the time. We've had a lot of Golden Point games this year, though. And there are people suggesting, I find it quite nonsensical, that if you're losing Golden Point, you should be getting a premiership point. Yes or no?
No.
That's a no. We did speak about this on the footy show on Sunday, and I
Right.
thought my excuse was that we'd have to change all our cliches because we wouldn't be playing for 2 points, we'd be playing for possibly 3. That would confuse a lot of players.
We shouldn't be talking in cliches. Then some people are saying you should get a bonus point for scoring a certain number of tries or losing by a certain margin. I haven't heard that one. It's not Super Rugby.
No. Just leave it.
None of the above.
Just leave it.
So Golden Point's still a good thing for the game?
Well, I said on the Sunday footy
Yep.
show, I'd prefer it to be golden try. Because we have, up until the 80th minute, you've got teams moving the ball laterally, passing it, trying to win. We get to golden point, you know what they do? 5 dummy half runs or 5 hit-ups for a field goal. And look, it's exciting to kick a field goal, but I think golden try would be far more entertaining.
So in the day when not many people were great field goal kickers, and a lot of it was hit and hope, really. You practice, but you didn't really practice. And nowadays, they're very good at it. So, there's ramifications in, going for kicks too early or missing your objective and someone getting a 7-tackle set. So I think it's fantastic. I think at the moment, all the golden point, all those parts of the game are exciting. I'm sitting on the edge of my seat and I'm excited, and I think that's a great part of our game.
Now, the Panthers fumbled their way through that game against Newcastle. Then, as soon as golden point started, produced the best set of 6 of the season.
Do we really have to watch
Of the season.
Well, they know how to win. They know their DNA. They know how to win the big moments.
Why did they not just play like this for the first 80 minutes? This is
I'll tell you why.
Dynamite.
I'll tell you, because they're not machines. They're human beings. They've been up for so long. They might have been flat. Blah, blah, blah.
That's right. You got 5 minutes. They know what to do with 5 minutes. You could do this. They could do this on the drink in Hawaii on the beach.
Really?
Right, golden point set. Yeah, absolutely.
Tackle 4, over the halfway. This is the run.
This is the hit up here. He gets to the 40,
drags
legs pumped. He
straight
goes,
to the front rows with
he goes another. And watch, he finds his front. 1, 2, 3. Plays the ball in 3 seconds. And then that allows, who else?
It
No,
doesn't
he never
get
misses.
any better than that. That's just so
Well,
good, isn't it?
Depends what sort of fan you are.
Yeah, well, that's true. That's true. See,
No stress.
They know how to win.
No stress.
They get it done. They know how to win.
felt sorry for the Knights.
The
That was
bloke,
a
the
gutsy,
bloke who
gutsy
kicks the
call.
field goal, he knows how to get it done. And once again, we keep saying, it's not a fluke.
No.
Kids
great
out
game.
there, young
That was a
boys and
great
girls, he just works and works and works.
That was such
Can you imagine how many, over the years how many field goals Nathan's kicked? You're talking up
every training session.
tens of thousands.
The one thing I was interested, the one in Parramatta where he'd never practiced that.
The 2-point one.
Well, he'd never practiced having a kick out, like getting a penalty at full time,
Yep.
kicking out, and he nailed it all. He knew exactly where to kick, brought the ball in. I thought he would have tried to kick it a bit further.
So when you were
the
playing with
defence was further
Ivan,
away.
when you played with Ivan at the Roosters,
Yeah.
was he born then, Nathan?
Yeah. Yeah, because I remember I gave him
Did
a little BMW car as a present.
Did he used to come to training and kick the ball and stuff like
I
that?
remember sitting in Ivan's lounge room and he had a kicking tee because Ivan was a great goal
Yeah.
kicker. And I remember him kicking, as a 2-year-old, as a kid,
He's
baby.
He's doing 40-20s. It's outrageous.
It's like Tiger Woods
Yeah.
when he was hitting golf balls at 2.
Oh, yeah.
No, I think he just had an infatuation with kicking and loved it. Loved everything about it. Obviously watched his dad. His dad was a great practicer. He was a good practicer.
They're so similar, aren't they, even the way they're talking? It's quite freakish. Joey's going to give us his updated Origin team after this, but we thought, why not go back into the archives, because we can here on the home of Rugby League. Let's see how the teams lined up for one of the great Origin series, 1992. Footy at its absolute best.
Fullbacks, Andrew Eddinghausen against Dale Shearer. On the wings, Rod Wishart and Michael Hancock, the other Graham Mackay and Willie Kahn. In the centres, Brad Fittler faces Peter Jackson. And debutant Paul McGregor marking the Origin master and most experienced player in the game, Mal Meninga. Daly against old teammate Kevin Walters. The halves, 19-year-old rookie John Simon faces up to Alan Langer. The locks, Bradley Clyde and Gary Larson. Second row, Paul Sirenen matched against Bob Lindner. The other pair, John Cartwright and the Axeman Trevor Gilmeister. Glenn Lazarus, front Steve Jackson. And newcomer Paul Harrigan on inspection against Martin Bella. In the hooking roles, Ben Elias and Steve Walters. On the bench for the Blues, Craig Salvatore, Brad Mackay, Rob McCormick and David Gillespie. The Maroons, Gary and Mark Coyne, Steve Renoff and Gavin Allen.
Oh, how good is that?
Queensland
walk
bench
back
had
down
2
memory lane?
centres.
Steve Renouf. No,
Mark Coyne.
Gary Coyne.
No, Mark Coyne was there.
I think they're both there.
It was Gary Coyne.
Was it? I didn't see the other one.
H. Henry used to call Gary Coyne the 2-bob coin and Mark Coyne the 20-cent coin or something like that.
Wasn't that gold? What two cracking Origin sides. What about John Simon at 19? So
John
Ricky Stewart
Simon.
was injured from that game, and he was at Illawarra.
So what game was that, 1, 2 or 3?
Game 1.
Game 1.
Where were you?
I was in the centres.
Oh,
Very youthful-looking Freddie. Paul McGregor, is that the same person? Doesn't even look anything like him. So it gets better.
That's what first
That's
grade
what coaching does to you, yes, indeed. Darryl Eastlake, the late, great Darryl Eastlake, caught up with New South Wales coach Phil Gould before the game. Let's have a look back on this.
Gus, this side, is it good enough to defeat them first up? really happy with the side. I think that we're strong in the forwards and we've got good replacements on the bench that can come into the game at any time. And the thing I really like about it is everyone's playing in their chosen positions, so their club positions, and no one's out of position. And, they're all in form and playing confidently, so that's important in a game like this. We're really basing this on a team game, so I think those fellas will slot in pretty well. Plus, they're playing with own club mates that have been there before. Paul McGregor's playing with Rod Wishart, who's experienced at State of Origin football, and Graham Mackay, another new player, is playing with John Cartwright and Brad Fittler, who have been there before. Paul Harrigan, the big front rower, he was involved with Laurie Daly and the boys in the country Origin side and handled his debut very well. So, I don't see a problem there.
Oh, that is the most delicious hair I've ever seen.
That is Chad Townsend like.
Oh, it's glorious from
thick,
Gus.
Thick.
Wow, and just like red and attractive, isn't it?
He's glowing, the lad.
He is.
He's glowing.
Joey, you're revising your Origin team from last week. Now, Liam Martin, they say he's got a mystery issue with his hamstring. They don't know what's wrong with it.
How bad are my legs? They are old. Old legs. Yes, so Liam Martin, he's not going to be there, apparently.
Game 1.
Well, he's got a mystery hamstring. So Cam Murray will go from the bench to back row. And on the bench, a bolter is Hudson Young.
Ooh.
I think he's been playing really well. He's a left side player. He could play back row. At a pinch, he could play in the middle. I think he could even play centre or even 5'8" if something would happen. I think Tyson Frizzell also should be thereabouts for his form at Newcastle, but I think Hudson Young, and I think he's made for Origin. He's got plenty of mongrel.
Did you see the try scored?
90-metre try.
Unbelievable.
Goes to show the speed he's got.
Unreal.
Yeah, that was super.
But the best thing about him,
And they didn't even look like going near him in that try.
Zach Lomax couldn't catch him. He's got one of those. He's one of those blokes who can score a try too. If a try needs to be scored, well, he beat Newcastle last year on the bell with a grubber.
He's grubbered himself.
Grubbered himself. There he is again, another kick. He backs himself. There it is. He can score a try. He's from up my way, actually. He's from Brankston.
He's got Origin written all over him, Freddie, hasn't he?
He's a good player.
Tough.
It was good. That was a great try on the weekend. I think it was just picked up a loose ball, didn't he? Ran 90.
Ran 90. 95.
I remember at Canberra, I took an intercept and got run down by Richardson, front rower. What was his name? Key?
Sean.
Sean.
Richardson.
Front rower ran me down.
How embarrassing.
I played the ball, literally I took off. I took an intercept on my own line. Ran the distance. He tackled me 5 metres out. I could see him coming over as I was slowing down. I'm going, no, this is awful. This is awful. Thank God I played the ball. Matt Singh, they just, shift. Matt Singh literally scored that far in. I was like, just on the other side. So relieved.
Guess who ran me down Guess who ran me down one time? Matt Parsons. When he was playing
on
for
the field.
South. Ran me down from behind.
How?
Oh, he was on a motorbike. Because
That's embarrassing.
Paso ran me down. I think it was in the wet. Murray, you might want to look that up. That'd be a good one for next week. Freddie getting run down.
Yeah.
And I think it was in...
Mine, I reckon, was 04, I reckon.
This was 90s.
Oh, you were nearly done then. It was not like you're in the early in your career.
Mate, I took an intercept on my line. He was a front rower.
I think 97, 98.
And you weren't a wet tracker by the sounds of things.
No, there's no W next to mine. No. I think it was the first game back from bad injury, from an ankle. So I'll blame that.
Okay, right. Just before you get on, so the Liam Martin thing, are you saying in case he doesn't make it? You're not hearing he's done, are you?
Well, it's a mystery hamstring.
So what do you know about it?
No idea.
Oh.
No idea.
But the worrying thing
I was just waiting to speak to someone from Penrith. So they're playing tomorrow. He's not playing. So
and he came back and re-injured it.
He'd be a big loss, to say the very least.
Mm.
Obviously, the news this week, Jack Wighton's decided to give rep football away. You had a chat with him, Freddie. I mean, from what we read, you've known for a little while, but you kept it under your hat.
Well, it's up to Jack.
Yeah.
So, in speaking to Jack, he just thinks it's time that and dedicate some time to his family and to his club and trying to win a competition. So I can totally respect that.
We don't know what club that's going to be yet. South Sydney have thrown their hat in the ring today,
Have they?
saying that they're keen to pair together Wighton and Latrell, who are close friends. They might even be cousins, are they? I think they're related somewhere along the line. But they spent pretty much the whole World Cup together, and they're obviously really close mates.
Close, yeah.
So that they're saying that might be a trump card
They got the
in
same
getting
managers,
into the club.
The Rose brothers manage, and Cody, all of them.
It'd be. I don't know what Jack would be seeking. What sort of money?
Well, Canberra have offered him 1.1, and they've lodged that with the NRL and said, this is what we're offering.
Right.
So that if a team comes in and offers him 700, they go, well, hang on.
Yeah.
Over 4 years, it's 1.6 million.
So
Less.
he said yesterday that he wants to dedicate time to his family, but he also wants to dedicate the last period of his career to winning a premiership.
Yeah.
That doesn't necessarily mean it has to be at Canberra. So what if he does take $700,000 a year to try and win a premiership? Is there anything stopping him from doing that?
No, there's not. But there'd be question marks about it because $400,000 a year is a lot. $400,000 a year over 4 years is a hell of a lot of money. About half of a
It's
euro.
1.6 million.
I'd said that before.
Did you?
Yeah, I've got a calculator.
And also they're saying that maybe he'll play in the centres for Souths if he went there.
Is that right?
It's all speculation, but obviously the Dolphins...
It's a lot of money to spend on a centre,
Yeah.
especially these days, the way teams play. Centres don't get the ball.
So we played Jack into the back row. It'd be interesting. We've changed the position so much, especially of lock. You know, in the old days, lock could defend on an edge.
He could be a good lock.
He could
They've
play
got a
that.
pretty good lock.
He could play that
Cam
role.
Murray.
Good point.
Hey,
He could revitalise that role. Jimmy Dimmick, Jason Smith.
Yeah.
I actually played a bit like that, where you just play both sides and you defend wider.
you retired from rep football. Your career was sabotage, wasn't it?
I was told to retire from the Knights after the 2005 series. And Mick Hagan was part of that for the Knights. He coached at the Knights, and funny enough, he was coaching Queensland at the time.
That you revealed last year in Stories of Origin,
actually-
you were going to make a comeback.
I was going to come back in 2007.
How good would that have been? Panthers, Rabbits. It is all on again. Oh, there's Freddy. So this
When
is
did
your
you
comeback
retire?
game.
Yeah, so I retired. Mate, I retired when I was 28.
How come?
Well, I had a discussion with Gus, actually. And I just had a bad year, 2001. And it was tiring that year. Just, I don't know, for whatever reason, wasn't into it. And, yeah, so I retired in 2001. And, yeah.
Takes
And then
a lot
Gus.
out of you.
And Gus, 2004, Gus rang me game 2 and said, so I played the last 2 games. Thank God, because it was a great way to finish.
Got your send-off. South Penrith, it's on again, boys. Now, the Panthers have dominated this recently. They've won 10 of their last 11.
Really?
Against 10 of their last 11. The only time they beat them, of course, was
Semi-final.
week 1 a couple of years back,
think
when Penrith won the comp.
I
That's
think
right.
if you put every team up against Penrith, their record, the last 3 or 4 years, it'd
Well,
be
they didn't
AR.
lose a game there for 2 years, just about. Oh,
They
incredible.
are vulnerable, though, this week, aren't they? There's no Fisher Harris. Martin's obviously out. I mean,
Quick turnaround.
yeah.
Quickly, where would you rate over the last 20 years, Penrith, 25 years,
The team,
as a team compared to...
I think different. They're a bit different. I reckon some of the teams that you would compare them against had bigger stars.
Like Canberra, the
Like you
early
look at the
90s,
stars in that team.
and then you look at the Broncos of the 90s. I think,
you look Manly the
Yeah.
mid-90s.
I think the argument's got to be there that they'd be up there with those teams.
Bit of niggle, always between these teams.
But they don't like each other.
Well, what happened with Latrell out at Penrith earlier in the year was terribly disappointing. I'm sure that adds
also,
to it.
But also, when they won this grand final, look, there's a bit of argy-bargy, which you don't see off Nathan, and I think they deliberately get under Cody's skin. When they were celebrating, they were singing the
Glory.
Glory
yeah,
to South
yeah.
Sydney. And people
mate.
blew up about it. This was round 2, when in the last 15 minutes, South went bang, bang, scored 2
South
tries.
scored 2 tries, and that was to win the game.
That was to win the game.
Dylan Edwards, imagine him getting in the road again. He's a good player.
Isn't he a good player?
When you play grand finals, though, there's I mean, you're
yeah.
even
Yeah.
seeing it with, even though it was all that time ago, Manly and Melbourne, there was still
Yeah.
spice there
Yeah.
on Friday just
Absolutely.
gone.
Who do you like?
And they both give as much cheek as they get.
They're cheeky teams, aren't they?
Yeah.
I think South's just.
I think I'm tipping South this week. I don't do that often. How do you tip against Penrith?
Well, we just did.
They're likely to turn around and win by 20.
That's the way that we start Anzac Round here on Nine's Wide World of Sports. Rabbitohs and Panthers, and a very big few days of footy coming up.
Red hot. Ice cool. This will go down to the wire. Thursday on 9 and 9 now.
Of course, the feature game in Anzac Round is Roosters versus Dragons at the brand new Allianz Stadium, which will be just magnificent. It is a wonderful day on the Rugby League calendar. It's obviously an important day for the nation, well, crucial day for the nation, but Rugby League does this very well, and can't wait to get to the new Allianz where everything is encapsulated beautifully.
Could you imagine that? Now, I mentioned on Sunday, Parramatta Stadium is 33.9 degrees.
You did?
And that's the steepest. Well, Allianz is, I think, 0.1 or 2 degrees less than that. So it shows you that is one of the more enclosed stadiums. The atmosphere will be just
Traps all the
off
noise.
the Richter.
Dragons have won 9 of the last 14 Anzac Day games. Now, I would never have guessed
Wow.
that.
No.
They won last year, 14-12.
I don't remember that far back. I'll take your word for it.
Well, they did.
Always a very poignant commemoration of Anzac Day, and it's wonderful that Rugby League embraces it the way it does. The big news coming out of the Roosters is that Sam Walker has been dropped. Cleary to 7, Manu to 6. Does that make them a more dangerous outfit?
Well, at the moment, it's just not working for the Roosters. It's a big call. It's a big call to drop Sam.
I think it's a smart call. You get the experienced Luke Cleary, Joey Manu. You're getting a stronger player.
Well,
Is it a
once
knock?
again- No,
Sorry.
but once again, like I was talking about Jack Wighton playing centre. Centres don't get the ball. The other night against the Sharks, Joey Manu got the ball from dummy half. You know, whether that's the way teams play, which is a big contributor, but also the conditions. Centres don't get the ball, not like back in the old days. You know, imagine if Gaznia and Langlands were playing now, they'd never get the ball.
So is this a reflection on Walker's form, or is this a tactical
No, it's not. Wouldn't be his
selection to
form.
get
I don't
Manu
think it's his
more
form.
football?
I think to get Manu more ball, but at the moment they're just not gelling.
Yeah, no,
Cleary
I think
and Walker.
the Cleary Walker thing isn't working. So
Why doesn't it work?
well, it's just-
You know what? I think we're underestimating also their Cleary and Walker's combination with Brendan Smith. All new dummy half also. It just hasn't clicked. The hooker and the halves, for whatever. And Tedesco's been in and out a little bit. But it's I think it's a brave call.
This could be a bit of a window to the future for the Roosters. If this works, Manu might find himself there permanently.
I've always liked.
Well, I think that's what they're thinking because at some stage, Luke Keary's, how old's Luke Cleary? 32, I think. So, you know, Luke Keary's, I think, comes up at the end of next year. So there's a look into the future, without a doubt.
If I was building a club from scratch, I would always have a big running 5'8". And when I was playing, I always liked to play with him, Laurie Daly, Braithen Astor, Trent Barrett. At rep level,
Daniel Abraham,
Daniel Abraham,
Sean Rudder.
Rudsey. Big 5'8". I think a running game. Can't have too many cooks. And I think moving forward in the next few years, Sam Walker can do it all. He's an old-fashioned on-the-ball halfback without talking too much technical stuff. But, yeah, Manu needs more ball. He needs to have more quality ball and just not run from dummy half.
Do you think Sam Walker can wait around while all that process is happening? Because Luke Keary's not going away. He's still gone till the end of next year at least.
I don't know. It's probably a discussion for Sam.
Roosters aren't going to let him go, are they?
Well, especially nowadays. Tell me the next great halfback
Who's the next
coming
halfback?
through. There's no one really jumping out of the ground. I go watch lower grades than that. There's not one I go, wow, he'll play Origin or he'll play for Australia.
Jeez, that's a bit of a worry, isn't it? There used to be halfbacks everywhere.
Mate, I got a theory. Weight divisions, they're getting bashed out of the game when they're young, and also the big one is overcoaching in junior footy. They want their young halfbacks to be playing like Jonathan Thurston or these players when they're 15, 16, Go watch Jonathan play when he was 22, 23. He wasn't playing like he did when he was 30, 29, 30, 31. Anyway, I could go on for ages.
Might be a good comparison for Sam Walker. You know, the way Thurston evolved as a footballer.
Mate, where JT was at 20, where Sam Walker is, Sam's up here.
There you go. Wow.
I'm a huge fan of Sam. Absolutely huge fan.
Tipping the Roosters?
Yes.
Yeah.
Roosters on Anzac Day. Thursday night footy, of course. We've already gone through that with Souths and Penrith.
I think if you asked Jonathan about that, he would agree too. And when he started at the Bulldogs, it was unrecognisable for how he finished at the Cowboys. He just built his game.
Well, by the end, the whole team, everything was formed around him.
Around him, yeah.
Like at the start, you're in there and you're fighting your way through, and that's a bit what Sam's doing at the moment.
Not a bad team JT started in. Roy Asatasi, Sonny Bill, Willie Mason, Marco.
No, Sonny was on the bench.
Rennie Matua.
Sonny was on the bench.
Mate, Roy, Sonny, JT and Rennie Matua, they were the bench.
Not a bad team. Not a bad team.
Mate,
Mate, when you
good
talk,
to play.
when you talk about Roy Asatasi,
that was wild.
He was one of the hardest players ever had to tackle.
Yeah, big man.
Footwork, big bumper bars.
Speaking of starting your career as a halfback, I learned something from you a couple of weeks ago that you made your first grade debut at fullback.
At fullback, yeah.
Did you know that? Did you know that?
No.
You debuted at fullback.
Half time.
Did you?
And had you ever played fullback before?
No. David Wade said, you played fullback before? I said, yeah, heaps, stack. Once again, old Pinocchio.
Got you on there.
Did they bomb a few up in the air at you?
Yeah, and it
How'd
was
you go?
windy and raining. Drop it like it's hot.
Very good. Thursday footy, South Penrith. Who are you tipping here? Have you already sort of given that away? South, both of you?
South. I turned.
Sorry?
I turned on Joey's weather report.
Oh, right.
Big
He
southerly
said
change coming.
southerly change is coming.
Southerly change coming tomorrow at lunchtime and bringing a little bit of rain.
Bit of rain.
Right. So where your speedos to the game is the best advice.
I know it's going to hold off, just like Cronulla.
That was
That's
your
it,
best.
no more rain.
Very good. Friday, up in Darwin, where it's always very sticky. And look, as a consequence of that, we don't get too many free-flowing games when they go up to Darwin to play at this stage of the year.
He's killing it.
Ezra, look at
Ezra,
how
man.
well he moves.
What a player.
Just see him accelerate.
Reece
then.
Walsh. Gosh.
Parramatta, 5-day turnaround, plus a lot of travel. I think it's going to be too much.
I like Para. I think they can graft one out.
Okay.
Good game.
Sunday footy.
How quick is Moses?
Boom.
Once he got it,
lightning,
it was
isn't
all over there. Is this the week? Is this the week?
Well,
Tigers at Campbelltown.
Stuff.
Off the bye.
I think they can win. I think they can cause an upset.
I'll tell you one thing, Manly are a different team. They've proven this year when they play at home or away. So I'm assuming Campbelltown's a tough drive from the northern beaches.
Yeah.
Jareem Buller,
Jareem Buller.
the fullback, making his debut. Much touted. I've seen some highlight vision of him in the lower grades. He is a supreme athlete.
Well, let's hope they can keep him. He was a great, prolific
I reckon he could have been an
Potential.
NBL basketballer.
potential, basketball. Look forward to watching him. They get
How
some.
tall is he?
He's tallish, like he's lanky.
Right.
What's the young wingers? Tupou. Is it
Junior Tupou.
Tupou.
He's a good
He's a
player.
beast.
And the other one I like is Tommy Talau. And I read recently he might be going to Manly.
He's on the bench. In fact, they've named both Dane Laurie
he's
and
been
Talau
injured.
on the bench.
Busted his nose, didn't he?
And last year he did his.
Yeah, he's terrible.
I think he
think
did
he's
his
a-
ACL. He's had some bad injuries.
Yep.
He came through as like in those pathways, real good athlete. And obviously we played against his dad, so
That's Willie's son, isn't
Yeah.
it?
It's tough.
He was another one in the Bulldogs.
he's a good
side.
player. Mate, you know what? Mate, he's 6'3", was a 5'8" centre,
Skillful.
back row. Mate, he could play all the positions.
They
Good
can't
player.
let him go. Dane Laurie, get him on the field. X factor.
He's played halves coming through at Penrith, Dane Laurie. What would you throw him in at 5'8"?
Who they put? Oh, Brendan Wakeham.
Wakeham's
He's
back.
All right. Go the Tigers.
Go the Tigers. Now, Gus is so bullish that the Tigers
Who
are
can
going to
you know how we used to do it for Hook? Hashtag. Well, can we do one for the Tigers?
do it for Benji. Do it for Sheensy.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll have to think that
I
one.
think. All right.
What about hashtag Tiger, Tiger, Tiger?
No, on the
Tiger,
bus.
Tiger, that's a nightclub in Manchester.
Get on the bus.
Get on the bus. You
Not
can't
far.
say. I'm not allowed to say that anymore. Before we go, have you got something?
I have one, I just can't say it. I can't say it.
You've been given the green light.
Yeah. You sure?
Yes.
Hashtag?
No, don't say it.
I can't say it.
Just hashtag.
Yeah.
Tiger, tiger.
Tiger, tiger.
Get on the bus.
You're not allowed to say that there anymore. That's
Why?
Ivan.
Oh.
That's Ivan
That
Cleary.
was Noffa. We want Noffa back on the bus. What happened to Noffa?
Noffa's back
He's
in.
been injured.
Was he in?
Noffa's back.
He's on the extended bench.
Get on the bus, Noffa.
Noffa got dropped, then went to Melbourne last year. Noffa doesn't know where he is. You got a word of wisdom. Have you not thought of this? I look in your eyes and I'm not seeing any wisdom.
No, there's no wisdom
No.
today. No wisdom at all.
Kalyn Ponga's 100th NRL game. Going up to Townsville. Have you got any wisdom for the boys? What might happen if they win?
Well, I sent them a video, actually, and I invented the rules. Well, the rules for Newcastle.
Oh, the Roosters
Is?
started that rule. No win, no drinkies.
No win, no mad cow. And you win 13 plus, you're out till daylight. There's no curfew.
You meet the bus at the door of the hotel.
I've known some people who've missed the bus to the airport after the cow and had to find a later flight at times.
Yeah.
I shall mention no one.
Oh, did you miss one too?
No, I've never missed a bus in my
I remember
life.
Brian Canavan trying to wake me up. I got there. I just got there.
God, mate, it's someone who you get so sloppy. You get so sloppy. I'm not one to throw stones.
What you missed? Did you miss a flight back from Townsville?
I missed one from New Zealand playing for Australia.
Tell.
No, well, no, I can't. No,
Oh,
I'm not telling.
Got him. All right. A reminder too, if you've got questions for the boys next week, we're going to dedicate most of the show to your viewer questions. We will try to keep them
When
something.
you used to get off the
clean.
plane at Townsville, this is how it was pretty smart. You get off, you walk through, and there'd be pretty girls handing out drink tickets to you for Bullwinkles and Mad Cow. Anyway,
Where was Bullwinkles in relation
They
to
did it
that?
at Titans
the road,
too.
diagonal.
Gold Coast. They used to do it at the Gold Coast as well.
The Gold Coast boys still barred from Cavill Avenue? Remember they weren't allowed to go into Cavill Avenue? I don't even know what goes on there anymore.
What was the nightclub in
Melbourne's.
Melbourne?
A few blokes have come unstuck there over the years, let me tell you. That's Freddy The Eighth for this week. Enjoy the footy, enjoy Anzac round, and we'll see you next week.